All right, man, peace. So, Sports Center with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill recently had a very good interview with the up-and-coming star center of the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid. Of course, they're going to speak with him, and I'm going to chime in.
Mitchell challenging Joel Embiid, and Embiid had something to say to Mitchell. And wow, and Mitchell put a forearm into Embiid. The tee is called. Joel hit the deck.
Hey, yo, this dude is a character, man. He gonna fuck around and talk that shit to the wrong guy, though.
And now he's urging the fans to rise and cheer.
I see something wrong,
I love it.
and then he just got up and kind of fake showed me, and I flopped, and he got a technical for it, and so that was basically how it happened.
That is peak Joel Embiid right there. We are joined now by my dog, my guy, the process, Joel Embiid, here on the Six. So we saw you stare down Donovan Mitchell last night. What did you say to him, though, that got him so upset?
I mean, it was just, I don't know, the heat of the game. I think a couple plays before that, he had a pull-up jumper over me when I switched onto him. And he said something like, you can't guard me. And then I was like, okay. So the next couple actions, I ended up blocking the shot, and I had to let him know that that's how it goes when you come into my paint, and I guess he got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, like I said, you're the only person that can make flopping fun. No shame, though. I mean, that was a shameless, exaggerated flop for somebody 7'2", 250, whatever you are. No shame in flopping to take that dive and getting a technical?
No, there's no shame. He's like a gazelle, I'm like a lion.
Oh man, I won't say that it was a flop, but I played soccer my whole life. You know, those soccer players, they've been flopping pretty hard, and I think I used my soccer skills in that type of settings last night.
No, that was more wrestler heel turn. Good job.
Look, I've already made a video about the Philadelphia 76ers. I do believe that they're going to be a team that's on the rise. It's going to be very interesting to see how Falk, once he's finally healthy, fits into their overall team dynamic. They definitely have the right lead player in Ben Simmons. He has a very, very high basketball IQ. Joel Embiid also seems to have a very high basketball IQ. Their team is so precocious right now. It's really going to be a test for their coach to really try to see how he can make all these different elements come together. But I do expect them to make the playoffs this year.
Now, there's no shame in your trolling game. Are you at all concerned that your constant trolling of other players, that's going to encourage people that when they get that opportunity to take off on you, kind of almost like Kyle Kuzma did, that they're going to...
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma tried to baptize him. He was lucky. Another guy, if that's Westbrook, that's gonna be a dunk in your mouth.
To make it worth their while. Are you concerned that you're kind of poking the bear a little bit?
Oh no, I'm not worried about that. I mean, if those guys that want to get their feelings hurt, and if they can't, if they're not strong mentally, that's not my fault. But I think when it comes down to it, and when if we all got to square up, I mean, I'm 7'2", and I'm a big dude, so I don't think you want to try me, and I'm African too, so that's the whole point of.
He said, I'm African too. What's that mean? You gonna pull a spear out the back of your jersey? What the fuck does that mean?
Playing basketball, having fun, go out there, have fun, kick someone's ass, and just play basketball.
All right, so let's go back to Saturday. You guys had that huge lead after the first quarter against the Warriors. They pulled away from you guys in the third quarter. You tried to pull a fast one on us. You went to Instagram, and you know exactly what you were doing, okay? We know you. You were saying, oh, come on, man. And then you went to Twitter talking about, no, you were serious. You learned a Come on. Why should we believe that you were not trolling Draymond and the Warriors on Instagram?
Now we know what it feels like to blow a big lead. Oh, boy.
Instagram. Come on now.
Nah, I was trying to make sure that trying to make sure the one knows that we blew a lead and that we were so young and we had to learn our lesson, and I think we did. I think when we're going to be in that type of situation.
That was good, though. That was shrewd. And he had Draymond there with his mouth open. Draymond's the one who caused the lead to be blown. I mean, everybody knows that. So that was very, very well done by Joel Embiid.
Situation of the game. We're not going to make the same mistakes.
So you just had to pick that picture of Draymond Green to get that point across and say, now we know what it's like. That was a 3-1 joke.
Fired that off. A 3-1 joke.
No, but at the same time, you got to give the ones a lot of credit, man. They played well, especially in that third quarter. Steph got hot, but, we blew that lead. We got to live with the consequences.
All right, we'll take your word for it. We'll take your word. You learned your lesson. This was unintentional, as good jokes often are. Got one more question about your trash talk and troll game. So over the last week, in some form or fashion, I've been tracking this, you have either trash talk or trolled your last 4 opponents. That will be the Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors, and then the Jazz last night. CJ McCollum tomorrow night, he's pretty clever himself, been known to blow kisses at opponents when necessary. What you got for CJ McCollum? And Monday night, you know who you got Monday night? LeBron and the Cavs. Will you go at the King?
Oh, man. I mean, it's all going to be fun. Tomorrow night, we got to worry about tomorrow night game. But, I mean, the Cavs game is definitely going to be fun. LeBron is the best player in the league, and I like playing against guys like that because they make me better. They make me want to get to that level.
Kevin Durant talked about this after the Warriors game, that he wanted to make sure that they won because they knew that you would go to social media and talk trash. If you guys did in fact beat the Warriors. Do you enjoy developing this reputation as somebody who will fire off on social media or even?
Yeah, but what does that say about Kevin Durant? That he's been in the league for 10 years. He's won 3 or 4 scoring titles. He's won an NBA regular season MVP, an NBA Finals MVP. And his motivation for wanting to be Philadelphia is to make sure that Joel Embiid does not have something to put on Instagram. That, once again, is how you know that Kevin Durant has a few mental issues. All right, he's very, very mentally fragile. And Joel Embiid can definitely get into his head. So Kevin Durant is very fortunate that Joel is not on the level yet to know how to beat them, because Kevin would not know how to act if he had to deal with falling into the Instagram rabbit hole or the Twitter rabbit hole that affects him so much. But no, this man, Joel Embiid, he's a master manipulator mentally. He's going to be a problem in a few years, assuming that he can stay healthy, especially in regards to getting into people's heads. He's on that Larry Bird stuff.
Or even in mainstream media, in an interview, if you get the better of the other team?
First of all, I think something everybody got to know is that I don't usually start it. I mean, all the guys usually started it.
Bullshit, you started. But you just also finish it because you're wittier than most of these guys. And that's normally what happens. People who are not particularly witty, they like to try to go back and forth with people who are wittier than them. And then they normally end up losing, and then they get frustrated and upset.
They try to be extra physical for no reason, or they try to talk to me and whatever. So, I just try to back it up. And I mean, if she make me mad, then I feel like I have a chance to kick your ass and then go on social media. I'm gonna do that. Then all the trash talk, I mean, everybody always talk about the NBA soft, we need to go back to the 90s, and to me it's just about going out there, kick people's ass and have fun and be as physical as I can and talk trash. And then I feel like everybody's gotta know that he stays on the court. Off the court, it's the different attitude. It's all about just being myself.
Agreed and understandable. That's how you know that this man is on his way. Great draft pick. It's great to see him finally able to take his skills and display them on the court, because for a while it was very questionable as to whether or not he would ever make it onto an NBA court. With the litany of injuries that he had, he was starting to remind people of Sam Bowie. Okay, so now this is going to be the continuation of their interview with the young up-and-coming superstar center for the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid. Of course, now they're going to go into the comparisons with Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Now, talked about Jaylen's player comparisons. Well, a lot of people compare Joel Embiid to Hakeem Olajuwon yesterday. We showed you part one of our interview with the Sixers big man. Here's part two, where we asked him about that comparison to the Dream.
Look, I think that Joel has a lot going for him. I think that he is very, very skillful. I also think that he has great dexterity and great foot mobility. But there's a long way to go for him to get to Hakeem. Hakeem was as agile as a small forward. If you ever watched the footage of LeBron James going down to Hakeem's training camp in Houston, Hakeem still has better feet than LeBron does right now.
When I watch you, I am so reminded of Hakeem Olajuwon, and I know that's a comparison that you've heard a lot. You're averaging 22 and 11. When you hear yourself compared to somebody like the Dream, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great. You know, when I started playing basketball at 16, the first tape that I got was Hakeem. It was like a mini movie.
I did a video on Hakeem Olajuwon versus Tim Duncan a while ago. Hakeem Olajuwon was a greater player than Tim Duncan was. Tim Duncan had more success in his career than Hakeem had. But Hakeem was a greater player than Tim Duncan. He was more agile. He had a better jump shot, even though Tim had a good jump shot, especially a very good bank shot. And Hakeem had even more diverse moves in the low box than Tim Duncan had. And Tim Duncan had a lot of moves in the low post also. But Hakeem was quicker and a better athlete than Tim.
On Hakeem, it was about 45 to an hour long. So I literally watched that tape from that day to probably my freshman year in college. I literally almost every single day just like trying to watch him, like everything he did, the moves he did, and go to the gym and try to repeat them. So to have people compare me to him, I think is great. But I think I have a lot.
Look at how quick that reverse pivot spin move was, man. Crazy. Once again, Hakeem Olajuwon beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He beat Patrick Ewing. He beat Shaquille O'Neal. And he beat David Robinson in the playoffs. Those are all the big men that he beat in the playoffs. Okay? That's not even counting him beating Karl Malone or Charles Barkley. I don't count them because they're not centers. But he beat all those guys in the playoffs to get to the finals or to win the finals.
Long way to go, and I'm going to do my best to reach that level.
The other night against the Lakers, you put up an incomparable stat line, as you know. But afterwards, you said you were 69%, I believe, was the exact number you put yourself at. Where are you right now?
You can't even get it out.
This dude's stupid. He's at 69%. I'm going to rewind that.
The Lakers, you put up an incomparable stat line, as you know. But afterwards, you said you were 69%, I believe, was the exact number you put yourself at. Where are you right now?
You can't even get it out.
I can't be serious with you, man.
I was talking about we were basically talking about my condition level,
right.
But I think he's getting there. He's getting there. I think I'm at 81%.
81?
You are randomly picking numbers. Don't even mess with us. You are randomly picking numbers right now. Now it's clear, though, regardless of what percentage that you're at, that you have a certain level of chemistry with Ben Simmons on the court. But off the court, in reading about you two, you all seem to be quite different. So how are you trying to maybe bridge that gap and maybe make that connection off the court, the same one that you have on the court?
Now you see what the media did there, and this is something that the media will often do, especially with NBA athletes, because they tend to be black. They tend to try to find little things that they can nitpick to try to create dissension between two young black athletes, so-called black male athletes. They did the same thing with Stephon Marbury and Kevin Garnett. They did the same thing with Shaq and Penny. They did the same thing with Shaq and Kobe. The difference was that they didn't really have to try hard with those two because Shaq and Kobe, they both had really super alpha personalities. They were never going to work. But they're trying to do the same thing right now with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. If they have a great mesh on the court, what difference does it make that they may have diverse personalities off the court? These guys are not created in a clone factory. They don't have the same DNA. They don't have to hang out in the same places or, find each other in the same clubs. It doesn't have to be that way. But the media is already looking for some form of dissension. They do this predominantly with young teams.
Like, you guys are a lot different.
I think it's all fake news,
Agreed.
We all close, as I'm close with all my teammates. We all going together. We all so young, so we do stuff. Especially when we're on the road, we go to dinners, and I've been talking about it with Coach too. I think he's gonna come to a point that people are gonna try to separate us.
Absolutely.
Talking about like whose team it is and who's better than the other, but
they also did that back in the early 2000s. For those of you brothers who remember, with Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal. They had a very good thing going over there in Indiana. That actually was Reggie Miller's, really his best hope to win a championship. That team was probably the best team in the NBA. That team that also, that went on to have the Malice at the Palace event with the Detroit Pistons, that kind of derailed whatever chances they had to get a championship. Ron Artest is on record as stating that he and Jermaine O'Neal would fight in the locker room over whose team it was. So these are the type of issues that occur with younger teams, and these are the type of issues that the media likes to have occur because, once again, it provides a media cycle storyline.
I mean, we just got to stick together, and in the future, we're going to dominate, and I think we've already shown a lot of flashes of dominance, so I can't wait to keep going with them.
That's pretty wise beyond your years to know that that day is coming when people are going to try to anoint one over the other.
Yeah, like your homegirl just tried to do. That the frog-faced idiot who said that black men are the white people of black people.
Jahlil Okafor, just almost like a forgotten guy. His dad was photographed with a T-shirt saying, free Ja. Some of the Warriors, I believe, took pictures.
I hope that Jahlil Okafor can get off that team. I really hope that he can, because they really should never have drafted two big men in the first place. I guess they were saying, well, we have the draft pick, and most of the time, you don't draft two great big men. One of them normally has injury problems, so we'll keep one for insurance. But they really do need to get rid of Jahlil, and Jahlil put himself in a very precarious situation by getting involved with all of those off-the-court skirmishes outside of clubs. Once again, you're making enough money to hire a bodyguard and a driver. It's the same sentiment that I touched on with Jameis Winston. Very important.
What kind of relationship do you guys have with Jahlil Okafor, given his uncertain situation?
Jahlil is actually one of the guys I'm really, really close to. What I like about him is that he hasn't been a distraction to the team. He could have easily acted like go out there and be like, I want to get traded, I don't want to be here, but he hasn't done that just because.
The Boston Celtics would do well to try to see if they can get him for cheap. Maybe get him for a second-round draft pick. See what Philly has to say about it. Because they are in need of a big man, especially a big man who has some type of low-post scoring ability and who can be a stalwart in the paint. That would be something for Danny Ainge to look into, because obviously they're not going to be able to get Anthony Davis, and they most likely are not going to be able to get DeMarcus Cousins without having to give up either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. So I would be very, very interested to see what how receptive the 76ers would be to giving up Jahlil Okafor for a draft pick.
Because he's a great guy. Obviously want to play, and coach and the front office, they have a different agenda. As the franchise player, I try to find ways to help him too, and talk to the owners, talk to the GM, the coaches about the situation, because I know he wants to play.
Now, as you know, Joel, this week is Thanksgiving, and a lot of families getting together, celebrating. You have a foundation, the Arthur Embiid and Angels Foundation, and you all are running a campaign for the holidays. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm from, first of all, I'm from Cameroon, which is in Africa, and growing up, it was, I had the luxury to not be as poor as like other kids that I saw around me. or generally in Africa. So, you know, my goal is just like, you know, just go out there and like help as many people as I can, and through my foundation with the help of UNICEF, I think that's the goal, and I can't wait to like keep going that there and hopefully reach to a certain level where we can build a lot of stuff like hospitals, schools, and all that.
Joel Embiid, brilliant on and off the court. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us use the beat button.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Anyway, that is Joel Embiid. And also for you brothers, the west coast of Africa, like places like Cameroon, that's a mixture of Israel and one of the sons of Ham known as Phut, P-H-U-T. So it's hard to discern or decipher what lineage certain people from the west coast of Africa or certain western countries in Africa are, but most of them are a mix of Israel and Phut. All right. But anyway, peace.